Hello everyone and welcome back. Let's find out where should we begin from. To do that, we have to add the dependencies that we need to our project. So I've created a barehand project right here. Let's go inside libs.versions.toml file and add the dependencies that we need right now. Dependencies that we are going to use are Google Services, Firebase Realtime Database, Heal, JSON, WebRTC for real-time communication, of course, Lifecycle View Model Compose to create a view model inside the components or Jetpack Compose, the Heals Navigation Compose, and Compose icons. Let's go inside the libraries part and add the libraries that we are going to need. Let me copy and paste it here. I'll also add the plugins that we are going to need, which are Google Services and Heals Android app. So let's go inside the build.gradle file, the project level, copy these two plugins here, and go back inside the build.gradle.kts of the app module. Let's add these two plugins along with the caps and also make it 35. Go down here and add the dependencies that we need, which start with Google Services and JSON, WebRTC, and everything that we added to our libs.version.toml. Let's press sync and wait for the build to be finished. Alright, now it's time to connect our Android project to the Firebase backend and add the Google JSON file to our project. To do that, let's open our Firebase console first. Now open up the firebase.google.com site and press go to console, press create a project and enter your project name. I'll name it MiniChat YouTube. Let's press continue. Keep going. Select an account here, create the project. After finishing, press continue. Now you can proceed to your project. So let's go inside the build file and press the real-time database. Then press create database. Select your server. I'll use the Europe best. Press next. Now let's go to the rules. Make this one true and this one true. This is for test purposes that we want to set read and write to the true. You can set up it later. You can search about it and how you can access to read and write to your real-time database. Now we need to add the google-services.json file to our project. Go inside here, project setting, and you want to set it for the Android. Let's copy and paste the Android project name. You can find it inside your main activity. Let's copy it here. Name it MiniChat YouTube. Let's register the app. Now download the Google JSON file. Just copy it and go inside your app. Set it to the project inside the app folder. Press it. Remember, it should be named like this, google-services.json. Press enter. And of course, you have to make sure that this Firebase URL exists. So this is the URL of your database. If you don't have this URL inside your app, you cannot connect to Firebase database, of course. So let's test if our application gets connected to the Firebase. Let's go inside my main activity and down here I'll use launched effect with key of units. I wanna use the Firebase database and get instance and use the reference and with child of test. I want to set the child to hello world. So let's run our application right now and observe our Firebase database. Let's finish this one and go back to build real-time database. And inside the data, we should be able to see there should be a node with the name test, and a subnode should has the hello world string. Let's wait for Android Studio to run the application. And yes, you can see this test field has the hello world value inside it. So let's create the project structure now. First thing to do is go back to Android, view, and go inside the manifest file and add the permissions that we are going to use later. We are going to use the camera, record audio for microphone, internet, of course, access network state, and modify audio settings to run the audio inside the speaker mode. Now let's go inside the main routes and move this main activity to UI package. Then add the project structure here. I'll start with the DI package. Next one is remote. We're having the Firebase client. And the next one is utils. The last one is going to be WebRTC package. Inside the utils, I have to first create a Kotlin class and name it MiniChat application. So this is going to be my application level class. And this one is going to be annotated heat Android app. Let's go inside the Android manifest file and add the name utils.minichat application. And then go inside to main activity and annotate it with Android entry point. Now it's time to create our app module, which is going to be annotated as module and install in singleton components class level. Now let's provide the functions that we are going to use later. The first one is provide context, which will get the application context and return the application context. Simple as that. The next one is JSON. That is going to return a new JSON object for now. The next one is going to be providing database instance, which will return the Firebase database instance. And the last one is going to be a database reference, just like that. Now we are going to need a helper class that uses the shared preference and provide the one-time user ID. Let's create a Kotlin class and name it shared pref helper. This is going to be an injectable class along with the constructor, and add the context to the constructor of it. So we wanna have a shared preference object using context get shared preference, and the name is going to exist inside the companion object here. Pref name MiniChat prefs, and user ID key is going to be user ID key like this. So let's pass this pref name to it. And we will have function name get user ID, just like this. It's going to get pref and pass this user ID key to return. If it's null, we should create a new one using UUID and substring to 0 to 6, since we want only 6-letter random characters, and then save the user ID and return the new one. Otherwise, if it's not null, we wanna pass the existing one. Let me create the next function, save user ID. It should be, of course, private because only this class is saving. The only this function does is uses shared pref and put string using same user ID key and pass the user ID that is being generated and press the apply to commit the changes. Now let's create our Firebase client, which is going to be a simple Kotlin file. It has to be singleton, and of course injectable. We will use the database of type DatabaseReference and pref helper, and of course the JSON. Now for the test purposes, I want to use the database inside the child of pref helper get user ID and set a value to hello world from here. We want to test this process whenever we create these Firebase clients. And this client should exist inside my view model. So let's create a package inside the UI, name it view model, and create my main view model. This is going to be annotated as a health view model. This will extend from view model, and we are going to add Firebase clients to it. So right now, whenever this main view model is being created, the Firebase client is going to be created and injected inside this view model class. Now all we have to do is to use this view model inside main activity to test it. Now for the test purposes, let's go here inside my main activity and create this file here, this main view model. Let's read on our app and check if something is being updated here. And of course we missed the inject annotation here. Let's read on it. And yes, you are able to see that a random UUID is being generated and has this string here. If we remove this one and relaunch our application again, we should be able to see that same user ID is updating same text here again. So we have a static user ID inside our application right now. Now let's go back to our project and handle one more thing before moving to the next video, which is the permission handling. To do that, I'll create a package named screen and add my main screen to it. It's going to be a Kotlin file. So I'll name it main screen. It's not going to use any sort of modifier. Let's create a request permission launcher, which is going to be, remember, launcher for activity results. And the construct is going to be activity results contracts request multiple permissions. We will receive the permissions array here, and then we want to check if not all the permissions is true. It means that we didn't get enough permissions that we asked for. So let's create a text and store this context object here. And if not, we wanna process with permission granted and do the rest of the works that we need. Let's remove this like this. And as soon as this component is being created, we wanna launch a launched effect with the key of unit, so it only runs once, and use request permission launcher to launch the camera and record audio for microphone. Now let's go inside our main activity, remove these two composables, and here let's create a box with fill max size modifier and window insets paddings to window insets class dot system bars, and then have our main screen. So if we run our application right now, we should be able to see that the permission is being asked. Now you can see that it's asking for record video or using the camera. Also, of course, for the microphone. So far, so good. Now let's move to the next video. To the next video, see you everyone.